Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Influence to Income podcast. We're your hosts. My name's Doug, and this is my wife and business partner, Haley. And the purpose of this podcast is to help influencers grow their personal brands while making passive income with online courses. And before we get started, just a quick heads up, if you are looking to start your own course, if you're looking to create your own online course and launch it and learn how to automate it and do the whole nine, we're actually accepting new students into our program, Influencer Course Accelerator. So below this or somewhere where you're listening to this or watching this, there's going to be a link. You can go click it. You can go apply. No harm, no foul. Go ahead, apply, book a call with us, and we can see how we can help. And with that, I think we're going to get started and jump into today's topic, which is all about why successful people hire coaches.
Yeah, so we really wanted to do this podcast episode because it's something that we've truly understood, this idea that seriously successful people hire coaches for literally almost everything in their life. Yep. And we've really understood this within the last probably year, but really the last 2 years.
Yep.
I always kind of thought that mentors or whatever you want to call them, I don't know, you just find someone sitting on a park bench, some like older man. That sounds really creepy, but
mysterious.
Yeah, you just like find people, like, I don't even know, working a regular job, someone that just wants to bless you with all of their knowledge in life. And I still get questions even on Instagram being like, Haley, where do you find mentors? And I want to tell that person you pay for mentors.
Yes.
And I did not realize this.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the I don't want to say the hidden
secrets
of like the business world, but it's something that people just don't normally talk about, and it's something that people just don't normally announce to the world that yes, I've had someone teach me
everything.
They it's almost like they can't be humble enough to be like, I didn't know everything. I have to. We want to explain that. We want to show you we don't just know everything. You aren't just born knowing how to run courses. It doesn't. None of this comes naturally. Maybe sales.
And we did not discover any of this by doing Google searches or YouTube searches. None of it, hardly.
And we'll get into that in a little bit, and we'll talk about why you can't just piecemeal or piecemeal, however they say it, whatever that phrase is. You can't just put things together and just hope that something works. You can't just jerry rig it. There's no MacGyver up in here. You can't just make that happen.
And the other reason why we wanted to do this episode is because really influencers, at least from my experience and knowing a lot of really large influencers or even micro influencers, I don't really find a lot of influencers hiring mentors or whatever you want to call them, coaches. They're not really buying online courses to learn anything. And I think that's a huge, what's the word? They're
mistake.
They're doing themselves a really big disservice.
Yeah.
And before anyone clicks away, which they probably already have, or anyone, really is thinking this thought, well, of course, Haley and Doug are doing this podcast episode. I have to call it out, right? Because they themselves are coaches. But let me tell you right now, we practice what we preach.
Absolutely.
I think 5 days ago, we hired yet another coach, mentor, whatever you want to call him. And it was $6,000. And we basically just paid this person to talk to them.
That's it.
We haven't even consumed their modules.
We just want to pick their brain.
Yeah, we just literally wanted to talk to them. And we took a 2-hour call with this new coach that we hired. Yes. And it was worth the $6,000. It's going to make us probably hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it was absolutely worth it. And yes, okay, cool. You guys call it out and be like, roll your eyes. Doug and Haley are coaches, and they're telling us that we need coaches. But let me tell you this and kind of start it off. We have spent so much money on coaching and on mentors. I think we're hitting the $60K mark almost. Yeah. When it comes to
paying
coaches,
for information
just within the last year. Yeah. Paying to learn things, paying to learn processes, paying to learn to pick brains, to just get questions answered to things that we have no idea. We just we want to put it out there. And we're it's legit. We spend this money, and we're not just talking about this because yes, we run a coaching program. Influencer Course Accelerator. Find the link
below. But seriously, we really want to shed some light on the stuff that nobody talks about. When you hear about people, especially, making passive income and making money online, all those gimmicky things, or just influencers, making a bunch of money, or anybody, a lot of people don't talk about the fact that they've had their hand held for the last 12 months. And that's why they went from, $0 to 50K months in under a year. You hear that, you think that they're lying, or you might not hear that at all because you probably don't follow the people we do. Yeah. But it absolutely is possible. That's what we've been able to do. And it's not because we are just geniuses, because we are not.
No.
C and D students sometimes for
Yeah.
me. And, we hire people and they tell us what to do, and it's honestly that easy.
So let's just talk a little bit about our first true big coaching experience that we had, because we've enrolled in courses and we've taken courses and we've talked to like coaches in Facebook groups and things like that. But our first real program was a $20,000 program. And we were so scared. I was scared. I was on the sales call. I felt like I was being pressured to like enroll, and like I was scared. It was a big deal. It's a huge chunk of money, but there was so much pain from the situation that we were in. Like we were so distraught and so sick and tired of where we were, which was trading all of our time for money with like brand sponsorships.
Yeah.
And doing all
Me
those
working
things.
24/7. You guys can
always
listen
on social media.
Yeah. Listen to the first podcast episode if you want that.
Yeah. That's where the pain really is. But like that pain is what drove us to spend the money, because we wanted to move away from that pain.
Yeah. And honestly, the real reason why I had no problem doing it, even though it was super scary and we didn't have the money for it. Like we had the money, but we didn't want to put
credit cards.
Yeah. We put it on a credit card because we didn't want to waste that money, because we thought it might be a waste. We don't know.
Yeah.
But the biggest reason was because I personally didn't want to be an influencer, doing just brand deals and relying on that income of having Doug watch the kids all the time for the next 3 years while we try and figure it out. Right.
Yeah,
I wanted to do it like in 6 months.
Yeah. And that's the thing that coaches get you and mentors get you, is they get you your time back, because it's a shortcut. It's a straight line from A to B. It's not some like roundabout map. It's not like you're sitting there, you printed out Google Maps and tried to like figure it out that way. And you're like trying to look up and down and like trying to figure out where you're going. I mean, Google Maps probably helped people like back in the day. So whatever it is that you use, it's like turn here, go down this far, make a left at this street. Like, you'll have to make a U-turn here.
Avoid this decision.
Yeah, exactly. And you can pick and choose kind of how much coaching you want, or how little coaching you want, and exactly what they help with. And there's coaches that help with basically everything.
Yeah.
But the point being is that you can skip tons of stuff. It's a shortcut. It's an absolute shortcut for you to actually just hire a coach, and you get all the answers, and you talk to directly the person that's in the situation that you want to be in.
And I think there is definitely this, this weird thing in the influencer industry where I don't know any influencer, at least personally right now, that could be like micro influencers or even really big influencers that, invest in coaches.
Yeah. And it's
like not something that they do. They kind of just look at, whoever's better than them and kind of imitate their content, or they just do a lot of research online themselves. And I think that's why it takes influencers, I'm not kidding, like 2 or 3 years to start making money, like 99% of the time. And also, can I say, I know people are also assuming, well, they make a lot of money. They've hit 6-figure months or whatever. But we spent that money before we made it.
Yes.
It doesn't work like that. You don't just randomly pop up in your head with all of this knowledge, make a bunch of money, and now I'm going to invest in a mentor. No, you like take a crazy risk and you invest before so you know how to make it.
Yeah, that's the biggest point. Like, and I want to call this out for the people who are like, I'm over this. I don't want to listen to them anymore. Just listen to the one more thing that's here. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, it's that you think you can get somewhere super crazy successful by yourself, and you could get all this money before you spend money on coaching. That is wrong.
Yeah. And we've learned that the hard way too.
You have to spend money to make money. Literally, you have to spend the money for mentorship so you can learn the steps you need to do so you can make the money to get out of your situation. So when people say like, Doug, I don't have that kind of money to spend on coaching. Well, the reason you don't have the money to spend on coaching is because you didn't get a coach in the first place.
Yeah, honestly.
It's like, you think it's like a chicken and egg kind of thing, but really just, you got to get the coaching.
You don't know how to do it. You have to have you have to invest something.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep doing the same thing that you've been doing? Okay. Now I got to calm it down a little bit. I just feel like I'm just over here slapping people.
Yeah.
Talking down their reasoning.
One of the top things I've learned, especially this last year, like we were just saying, we always assumed that people just got super wealthy really fast, like through their own special knowledge, and that it could never work for me or Doug because we just weren't smart enough. I mean, we were both C students. We didn't do anything fancy. We're not engineers or, very, I don't know. We're not like necessarily good at math or any of the things you assume that you need to make a lot of money in a short time. But we have the resources and we have the motivation to hire people. So the mentors that we've kind of hired and the coaches that we've bought into their programs, they've been anything from mindset to building funnels to what else, Doug? Amazon FBA, obviously. FBA, YouTube.
Yes, YouTube. We talk basically email. It's landing pages. I mean, conversion rates, ads, sales, basically everything, like just so many different topics that we've bought into, because there's no reason to like go out and try to do it on your own when somebody's offering you the exact things that are there.
Yeah. And the one thing that I really took away actually from working with these coaches and talking with them and talking with their team members isn't so much, I mean, yes, it's obviously like we learn about the landing pages and the email lists and all the technical things. But once you start being in circles with people that make way more money than you start to understand how they think. And one of the common themes that I have found with all the successful coaches that we've worked with is that they themselves don't do anything by themselves. Yep. I don't know. I don't want to call it like an epiphany I had, because I obviously learned it. It didn't come out of the sky, but it hit me recently this year that all of these people don't try and do it themselves. They don't have the time. They'd rather pay someone else to walk them through it. Even if it's someone that doesn't make as much money as you, like they will still hire out special skills. And they do it before they make the money. They take risks with their income. They invest in their business, and it helps propel them so much faster. And the last thing I'll say is these coaches that I'm talking about, they're the kinds of people that go from zero or whatever, I don't know, even somewhere close to $0 a month in revenue to like $100,000 a month within a year or year and a half. Like they are not people, I don't buy into programs where it takes people like 5 years. These people did it really fast. And that's the one common theme I found.
Yeah. And the thing is too, is that like these coaches, once they started seeing success, they took that money that they've made and they put it back into new coaches. It kind of becomes addicting.
Yes, it is.
To keep finding people that can help you fix every area of your life. Like, do you need to manifest money? There's probably a coach for that. Do you need to, learn how to do yoga before you do your work? Then there's a coach for that. Do you need to work, like whatever it is? And they delay their gratification. So successful coaches still get other coaches.
Yeah.
To teach them how to do other things.
It never
ends.
It
never stops. They're all part of these masterminds, and they're part of somebody else. There's always a bigger fish that's out there that you can learn from. Like the moment that you think you're the smartest person in the room, like you've stopped being able to progress. So it becomes addicting, and that's just what successful people do, is they continuously try to learn.
And the other thing that I have found to be a common theme with the people that I admire, the people that sacrifice a lot, but also, don't sacrifice their family time, because I don't really necessarily look to people that don't spend any time with their kids or like
the grind life.
Yeah, we don't want that grind life. I mean, we barely work as it is. I hate saying that because it's so cringy, but it's true. We don't want that, hustle and grind life. But the people that I look to that value family time and want to make passive income so they can be with their kids or whatever, these successful coaches that I try and emulate, they value time above money. Yep. So they will give you shortcuts so that you don't have to waste your time. And I think a lot of people don't value time at all because they think that, I don't know, they just don't see it that way. All they see, they have a lot of money stories in their heads. They think
the dollar signs.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, I don't have that income and I'm never going to get it back. So I think what it is they don't believe in themselves deep down. So they'll see a price tag on something and think, out loud, they'll say, I don't have the money, but subconsciously, I think they believe, I'm not worthy of making that money back, or I don't trust myself, you know?
Yeah. And not to go off on too far of a tangent, but when people start saying like, I don't have the money to be able to do things, they don't understand that you can make money back.
Yeah.
But you can't make time back.
No.
Like you cannot.
That's where I was going with that.
Yes. You cannot get your time back. So if a coach is going to save you time, so instead of spending 3 years on something, you're going to spend 1 year on it. Now you have 2 years back to do something, to do whatever else that is that you wanted. I mean, not to tug on more heartstrings here or whatever it is, but like you could take coaching and then it gives you the time to be able to go to your daughter's dance recital or to, your kids, whatever. But if you don't take the time to invest that, and, you spend the money, then you get the money back. If you would rather trade your time, the time doesn't come back. And it blew me away to think about it that way.
Yeah. And the other thing that I actually did want to talk about this with Doug, I wrote it down on my phone, so cheesy, but we're business partners and, husband and wife, so he gets to listen to this all the time. But something that I was going to tell him, and I guess I'll tell him on the podcast, is this idea that like popped into my head the other day. And
this
basically,
is a fresh take, by the way, I have no idea what she's going to say.
He has no idea. But basically, I have learned recently that, you can buy into like a coaching program and you can buy into a course or whatever, and it'll be, I don't know, whatever. It'll be $497 or it'll be $1,000 or $20,000 or $5,000, all the things that we bought into. And you assume you're going to learn about whatever you pay for. So in our case, it's like funnels and Facebook ads and all the things. But I think that actually it's worth it just to buy into any type of program and come away with it with one life-changing thing. So for instance, like we spent $20K or whatever on that first program. It was definitely a shit ourselves moment, shaking in our boots.
Yeah.
And really what I took away from that first experience, which now I kind of like go a different way, but you learn things the more people you hire.
Yeah.
The first thing I took away was to, basically, you have to sell a $997 product and run it to a masterclass. So if I had just learned that probably, and I know this sounds crazy, but that probably in itself, and the fact that it works for so many people in this program, that's worth the $20K right there. The validity that I got that I could actually make it work because these hundreds of people were doing it too, like that is worth the $20K. And then soon after that, we recently bought into someone and they're teaching us the fact that, if you do it this way, this also works, like doing high ticket sales, and it's super easy to scale to 100K months, which is what we're doing. So if you could just take away one thing that can change the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years of your life, it is worth it. Cause again, it's that time factor.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, one of the reasons Haley probably this came up was because that program was not everything we thought it would be cut out to be.
No.
But
I don't regret it.
Fact or that one thing that we've learned was in itself worth the 20,000 probably more.
because of that one idea that we saw proof of, we made hundreds of thousands of dollars. So so I know I always come on here and say, entrepreneur life is all a mind game. It's all about mindset, but it absolutely is. And something that we've recently learned, especially working with so many coaches now, I don't even know what we're on, the 5th one, I don't know. But this last one, I truly knew that it's not even about the technical stuff a lot of the time. So this last call we had with our recent coach, he was giving us life advice because we would not have been able to further our business if we didn't figure out where to put our money, what to do with it. I mean, and that is dependent on how much time we spend with our kids, how much time we sacrifice to the business, and what risk tolerance we have. And a lot of that stuff is very personal. It's not about like which funnel to use or
contrary to popular belief, coaches are not just there to teach you how to do technical things. Coaches are there to help you in basically all aspects of your business, and some of them are life coaches. I think life coaches are kind of like coming on a little bit for people who are successful, like very successful people. They're like, I don't know what to do.
I think they just help you not sabotage your chances of success.
Yeah, and they help you to answer questions for when nobody else is there to be able to answer questions for you.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of a coach too, is that, like I said, they're there to help you understand things, and you can just ask them things. And like Haley said, I've barely even started the actual like curriculum, that's there for us within this latest program. And really what it is just like, we need somebody's brain to pick. We need to ask questions. We need personalized help. And the personalization aspect is something that you don't get out of a YouTube video. I
wish I would have told myself, Haley, I would have been willing years ago to sacrifice anything to maybe even like get a discounted, I don't know, this is a hypothetical, but get a discounted rate on like a trip to Hawaii. I would have come up with like the 5K if it was like some all-inclusive crazy, like, some amazing 5-star resort. I would have figured out how to come up with the 5K or the whatever it is, 20K or maybe not 20, but you know what I mean? Like, and you do things that are crazy in your life, like get into massive amounts of college debt like we did. You do things for societal pressure, for yourself. And honestly, like if your life was on the line, you'd figure out a way to make it happen. So why wouldn't you do that same thing with your time and with your chances of success,
Yeah, I think really what it comes down to is like, not to get too existential here, but like societal norms aren't like go spend your money on coaches.
No, it's like it ends at college, and then after that you learn nothing else. That's all the teaching
you're supposed to do. So societal norms make it to where it's difficult for you to feel comfortable spending money on furthering your education.
Yes.
When instead you should be spending money on like a house payment
because you think that's going to make you financially free. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, okay, let's not get too wild up in
But
here.
it's not, okay? Buying into things like that, it's not. It's going to make you potentially some money in a couple years, but it's not going to help you retire a spouse or make 6 figures in under a year. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to do that, or help you quit your job buying a house or buying into something else. A lot of things, you know?
Yeah, so really dig deep and think like, what am I really happy with my situation? Like, is there actually pain that's there that you're just like hiding over and suppressing with the latest like oat milk drink from Starbucks? You know, so like, what is it that you're doing to cover those things up, and just sit there and think about it? Like, am I really happy with this? And if I'm not, what can I do? Who can I talk to? Like, who can teach me to get out of it? Because you can spend all day just sitting there asking yourself, like, why am I here? Like, how do I get out of this? How do I do it? And then you just do the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah. And that was us forever.
After
we graduated college, we didn't do a lick of learning. I mean, I sort of did, but Doug
the
kind of
most learning I did was like Netflix documentaries.
Unless it's for your job.
Like, that was it. Yeah, or my job. And I was learning for other people.
Yes.
I wasn't even learning for myself at that point. If we were to just kind of wrap things up and to summarize, I think it's just that we don't want you to be scared of getting coaching or mentorship or like courses, even like enrolling in something to figure things out, because trying to figure it out on your own costs time. It costs money. It creates doubt. It makes things way harder in life. And it's just like, nobody talks about getting coaches.
Yeah.
So hopefully us talking about getting coaches is be able to help kind of motivate you to think that you can get up and you can kind of do things. And if you don't know how to do them, you'll go find somebody to help you out.
Yeah. And honestly, it's very addicting, because once you get your first mentor or coach, whatever you want to say, and you see how fast you get results from anything, it could be like, I don't even know, sleep training your baby, or not even just something crazy like making money, but especially obviously making money online. Yeah. You will start to get addicted. And that's how I am. I'm like, who's next? Like, after I, work with this one, I got to get the next one. I mean, it's life changing. Absolutely.
Well, hopefully that in itself has been able to help you guys, and you got some kind of value out of this podcast. If you did, like, we'd really appreciate it if you guys could like leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, do the usual thing, like like, comment, and subscribe that they always ask. But hopefully you guys got something out of it. And until next week, I think that's everything that we had, right?
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.